Welcome back to Catholic Messenger Conversations, our monthly podcast with Bishop Thomas Zinkula. Today, we're going to focus on the diocese's revised COVID-19 protocols, moving from step 2 to step 3 toward reopening, and what happens next. Right, Bishop?
Whatever you want, Barb.
We always say this. Okay, so the increasing number of vaccinated people made it possible to move closer to reopening. What is the vaccination percentage that will allow full reopening of churches, chancery, and other diocesan entities?
I don't know. I mean, it just depends on, it's all along, we've been kind of figuring this thing out as we go, because it's this new thing, and we can have, there's this kind of target, and then things kind of evolve, and that doesn't make sense, or whatever. So we're paying very close attention to the CDC, what they're saying, right? And they're trying to figure it out too. They don't always get it exactly right. I think we want to be closer to herd immunity. We've said that from the beginning, herd immunity. What does that mean? That shifts, kind of somewhat, and people have different ideas on that. And the governor is saying, that she wanted to have 65% of adults vaccinated by the end of May. I don't think we quite reached that, but now she's saying 75% by the end of June.
But Bishop, how are we going to know? Because, for instance, she has put a ban on vaccination passports, for example. How does anyone know?
Well, they know, but we know how many people are vaccinated.
Right.
They know that. I mean, they don't know exactly who, maybe.
Right. Okay.
But so. I don't know. Is that the time? Will that be the time where we kind of open things back up? And when we do, what we've been talking about is that's when we maybe lift the dispensation. Is at that time.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, we're back, and let's back to as normal as we can be.
So talk about that dispensation. What exactly does the dispensation entail?
It dispenses people from the obligation to attend Sunday Mass. Right. So, you wouldn't really even need it because, there's reasons why you can dispense yourself.
Right.
If you're not well, or there's a pandemic, or but for some people that are more maybe older and take the obligation more seriously, hopefully everybody does or would, but and they're maybe a little more scrupulous about it, and it bothers their conscience. So, okay, here it is,
Right.
And hopefully somebody on the other side of it, they don't. I don't have to go to Mass, and they can. So I don't want to. Nobody's really asking about the dispensation. It's not. Nobody ever asks me about it other than you, Barb. But so I don't want to lift it too early and people feel coerced, to be coerced to come to Mass, because I got to, and they're not ready for it. Maybe it might just be a psychological thing. Somebody's maybe even vaccinated, But some people aren't vaccinated. That are vaccinated are still wearing masses. So I don't want people to feel pressure. I got to go back now, but I'm nervous about it. So I'm I haven't lifted that dispensation yet, but I don't have that specific date exactly. It just kind of depends on kind of how things go.
Does that surprise you? People haven't asked you beside me?
Kind of.
It does me.
Yeah. Early on, there were a few people kind of on the negative side of that we shouldn't have dispensed.
Right.
And also to lift it, but that was kind of early on. I haven't heard anything for months at all about dispensation, which I'm okay with that. It shouldn't be, I wouldn't have even we wouldn't have even needed it really. If you feel you have a valid reason for not attending Mass, then, and it's in your own conscience, and you can dispense yourself, but some people have a hard time making that decision. And
right.
So
yes.
For those people, it was good to do it.
I grew up in an era where you went to Sunday Mass, or there's a huge guilt trip for not.
Yeah.
Going.
Somebody told me, a woman that recently she actually did. Somebody did talk to me about it. She said, her husband's not going to go to Mass back to Mass until I lift the dispensation. So she's like kind of asking when that would be, not putting pressure on me, but just sort of wondering when that would be, maybe sort of implicitly pressure,
Right.
Whatever. But so that she did say, for him, it would help him to come back to Mass. Maybe he's nervous about it or, whatever. But I don't want to coerce people.
Right. You could give him a personal call and say, we'd really like to have you come back to Mass, Jim, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Whatever. What are you hearing from pastors and parishioners about the mask protocol that requires unvaccinated persons to wear a mask at church and to socially distance?
Oh, I've been hearing. I don't hear anything from pastors at all about that. I hear from parishioners, some, a fair number, not like lots, but they feel like it's discriminatory, like we're shaming them. They've chosen not to get vaccinated. These are more people. I don't hear so much from people that can't be vaccinated, but
Right.
people who've chosen to because of in terms of the stem cell kind of abortion thing,
Right.
or they're just not into vaccinations or masks or whatever, and so some of those people kind of tell me they want to make their own decision. I shouldn't be telling them, what to do. They're big boys and girls, and they're like they were making them wear a scarlet letter, having to wear a mask and social distance. So I hear that, and I respond that it's what it is. There's these two different groups, and the CDC kind of made a distinction. Okay, this group, people who are vaccinated, and others that aren't, then they need to just govern themselves differently. And so I talk about, so they don't like the word requirement.
Oh, okay.
They don't like that. They wanted me to say, like, I strongly recommend. So they're feeling this conscience thing for them, is my sense
Right.
of it. And so the onus is on. Before it was, the diocese kind of saying, do this, and now the onus is on them. The burden's on them to be safe, and so I mean, it's what I one thing I say is, it's not trying like picking on you or shaming you. It's more it's love. The people that need to really be careful are people who are unvaccinated now, right?
Right.
Someone who's vaccinated, they could still potentially get the virus, but they're not. It's not going to be these terrible effects. Maybe there's a slight possibility of that, but it's very, very minimal. So I tell them it's out of love for you. For whatever reason somebody's not vaccinated, we need to protect them, and we need to be concerned about their safety, that they can pass it on from one unvaccinated person to another. And if everybody's at Mass without masks and close together, it's not a loving thing. And if we're concerned about the common good, right? And I'd like to think that people would do this even on their own without the diocese saying, okay, this is our guidelines. And when it comes right down to it, there's no vaccination cards, there's no vaccination police. I can't control what people do. People can come in and do it. It's their conscience.
It's an honor system.
It's an honor system. It's just the way it is. And, we're not going to kick somebody out if you don't want to follow our guidelines.
So these are people who probably would feel a sense of guilt if they didn't,
Right.
because they are unvaccinated. And because I'm thinking it would be easy enough to just say, okay, well, I'm not going to wear a mask, I'm not vaccinated, but nobody's going to know. But they're not looking at it that way, are they? They're looking at it from the idea that I need to be honest with myself and with God.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at it as, they want me to say it's okay, so it's on my conscience.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to. They'd be okay going back and not wearing a mask, and as long as there wasn't a requirement. And I'm like, you shouldn't be okay with that, and so it is what it is, and people are going to make decisions that they're going to make, and I can't control it, and I'm trying to look out for for the people that I'm responsible for.
It's just one more of the frustrations of this uncertainty, of the unknown, of this whole illness, and the idea that people want to be done with this thing. And
right. And I'm saying it's a minor inconvenience. Just hopefully it won't be too much longer. Can we just kind of an hour at Mass? Can we be concerned about each other? That's what I'm saying. And so anyway.
What about you? Do you wear a mask at any time? And if so, when would you wear a mask?
Well, I'm figuring it out as we go along, just like everybody else. I'm, fully vaccinated, so I wouldn't have to.
Right.
But I do still wear a mask when I distribute communion.
Okay.
I still wear a mask when I'm confirming young people. They're mostly not vaccinated. Okay. And, when I go to the grocery store, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't need to because, I still could get the virus, and I might not have any symptoms. I'm not sure if you can pass it on,
right.
Even when you've been vaccinated and you get it. And so I'm not sure about that. And if I'm going to have a chance to, maybe I don't know where that's at, but if it's a chance and I of that, and I'm possibly going to run into somebody who's unvaccinated, it's not a big deal to wear a mask.
No, it's not. I've noticed I feel guilty if I see people wearing a mask, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I should put on a mask just out of courtesy.
I think about that too. I think about that too, just to be in solidarity with somebody.
Yeah.
I do think about that as well.
And so I'm glad, because I thought, is this something from this whole pandemic? it's such a habit that I wear a mask that I want to put one on, and yet I love the idea of being fully vaccinated and not having to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I don't want people to think I'm better than them because I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah, I think, right. I think we're all, it's so new to you don't have to wear a mask. It's only been a couple of weeks, and it's just hard to get used to something different.
It is.
And, but
do you have any special masks? Do you have like special colors and?
No, I love people have given me a lot of I don't really have to buy any.
So you have one for each liturgical season.
I was doing that a little bit. I got St. Ambrose had these purple masks during Lent. I was there for a mass, and I grabbed one of those and wore that for a while. So no, and I have a green one somebody gave me. I kind of was wearing that during ordinary time, but then I kind of went with the N95. Somebody gave me some of those.
Okay.
I thought, well, maybe that'd be the better thing.
Do you like? I'm just curious. And last one, I'll ask about this, but. Do you like launder your own masks or stick them in the washing machine or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, the ones, those certain ones that aren't cloth, you just throw them away. Whatever, right. But the other ones,
they wouldn't work very well in the washing machine. How helpful or not helpful was Governor Reynolds' ban on a mask mandate in all schools?
Well, it wasn't helpful for us, and working with the education division, it's like, why now? Can't we just finish out the year? Is that much time left? Can't we we're used to this thing? And so it was kind of frustrating. And then there's the CDC saying one thing, and the Iowa Department of whatever it is for education, it's saying something else, and it's conflicting. So we ultimately said, to the schools, the principals, if you want, you can follow the Iowa Department of Education guidelines, but we really encourage you to follow the CDC guidelines. So I think most of them did, but I don't think they all did. But it's just one more. It's when you have to pit one group against another, and different sorts of rules and regs, it makes it messy.
And it would sure be nice if it were uniform, isn't it? I mean, that would add to a little bit more certainty in this uncertain time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, people are looking for that, and then people have to make decisions. Then, principals and parents, and that whole thing has been really hard. I think in a lot of different levels.
I'm wondering too, how has your calendar changed since the revised protocols took effect on Pentecost? Well, it's just only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's only been a couple of weeks. I would say you know, I mean, in terms of the calendar, kind of what it looks like when I'm out and about, it's different in terms of the protocols, but I'm pretty much back to normal. I mean, I can't get into prisons yet, and there's things like that. I called home, they're shut down again, you know, and things like that. But mostly I'm back at it, I would say. So it didn't affect things too much for me yet, but you know, things are still. Have
you been able to like visit the retired priests if they're in a nursing home or?
Yeah, I have been. You know, I was for a while. I could call home. I was there. Father Busher's there now, and Bishop Franklin. I was able to get there to visit them when they opened it up again, and then now it's shut down again. Though they had some COVID cases.
Okay.
So now it's so it's just hit and miss.
Is that hard on them or harder on you because you like to?
Well, I think it's hard on everybody in that situation for sure. Anybody in a care center or just grandparent at home that can't interact with grandkids, and I think it's harder than everybody. But I stay in touch with our retired priests here that live at the St. Vincent Center, so I can I've been careful, but I've been able to.
They've fared very well here, haven't they? The retired priests.
They've done great. We didn't get the virus here. They, it was hard, but they were in good spirits. They kind of looked to each other more. It seemed like, and kind of as a community, but yeah, they were in good humor and.
Kind of like a monastery in a way?
I think maybe, yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
Did they still say Mass together every day?
Yeah, one of them was more careful than the others, and so he kind of did like sit with them at lunch and celebrate his own Mass. And then the two Tanzanian priests, they were going to classes and stuff. So
that's right.
They're on the other side of the building.
Okay.
And then they were celebrating Mass by themselves. And then in the dining room, they sit on the other end, and they were careful because they were out and about. So I think we took precautions, and we were fortunate, that everybody.
That was really, really fortunate. Right. And then, what do you see parishes doing to prevent alienation between vaccinated and unvaccinated churchgoers?
Yeah, so, one thing I've been encouraging them to do is not to use that language. I mean, if you have to, you'd have to. You'd wear a mask if you're not vaccinated. But otherwise, in terms of like, kind of creating a certain space for different situations. You don't have to say, okay, unvaccinated are here. It could be just people who need or desire to wear masks and socially distance, and just in terms of what your comfort level is. It might be because maybe you're vaccinated, but you still want to do that, or you can't get vaccinated, because of some health situation, or you've chosen not to for whatever reason. So it could be anything. But here's a place that people need to for people who need to be careful and be and for their own safety. So that would be something. Another thing, I don't know if anyone's doing this, but you could have a separate Mass, or one of the Masses designated as a Mass for people who aren't vaccinated. So it's not like there's two different groups at the same Mass kind of a thing, but here's a Mass for people, just for people who want to and need to take extra precautions.
So, for instance, if they're not, then they would be socially distanced.
Yeah,
and
so
wearing
there won't be
masks
it wouldn't be a sense of alienation. Here's this group over here at the same Mass. It's just a Mass just for people who aren't vaccinated. So
that might not be so practical in a smaller parish.
No, I know
right?
It might not. Right, it might not be practical. I don't know. I'm not sure. I know that that is happening some places in the country.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anybody's doing that in our diocese, but I'm just saying that is a possibility.
Some parishes, aren't they also, like in our parish, for example, we're still doing every other pew. So it's just the whole church is there.
That. Right.
Pew.
I know one parish, another parish, the other end of the diocese was going to continue with masks and social distancing, so there's not a separation.
Right.
And the reason there was because, like, lots of people haven't gotten vaccinated.
Oh, okay.
And so, and people, the pastor's concerned about, how do you know? If you just kind of, he's concerned that a lot of people will come without wearing a mask and without social distancing that, that aren't vaccinated. And if you do what most parishes are doing,
Right.
So he's kind of just staying. I'm not sure if he's still doing that, but early on he was saying he was going to continue with everybody masking and everybody social distancing. Does everybody wear a mask too at your parish?
No.
So nobody's wearing a mask. But
a few people are wearing masks. See, that's where I feel like, should I wear a mask? But I don't. And so it's some are and some aren't.
Yeah.
So you have no idea if that person is wearing a mask because they haven't been vaccinated or they just feel safer. And so, but that's a situation where I feel like, gosh, should I be wearing a mask then?
I know that's where it's at these days. It's messy.
And I'm thinking when this is all done, like I don't know when the end point is, but it'd be great to take all those placards that say, no one sits in this pew, or the ribbons, and just put them in a pile somewhere and have a ceremony or something to celebrate the end of that.
Burn them or
something like that, kind of like a mortgage burning. How would you compare the singing in congregations pre-pandemic and post-pandemic?
Well, it's early on.
Yeah.
I've only been probably, I've had a few masses out there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of quiet this last weekend with the Memorial Day. I did have a confirmation mass, but so I've had limited experience with that. It is nice to be able to sing again. I know for me personally, it's just even hard to it's even hard to get used to in terms of, wow, we're singing again, So it's just taken a while to let that sink in, and this is really, really great. But I don't know. I noticed at one mass. It depends on the parish and the group, but it's not like everybody was singing robustly everywhere.
Right.
There was a mass I was at since we've kind of relaxed things, where okay, here's this song we're going to sing, and I'm walking up the aisle, and there's like not a lot of people having a music book in their hands, and that's pre-pandemic, and now post-pandemic. Certain times when I see that, and it just totally breaks my heart, because singing is so important, and it makes such a difference. And it's like people didn't even pick up a book, and when it's a lot of people, it's always some probably, but when it's a lot, I'm like, oh man, it breaks my heart, honestly.
I would agree with you. The singing, it just almost brought tears to my eyes to be able to sing. And I noticed, like, we did the parts of the the mass setting, the certain mass setting with the Gloria and the all of the other parts of the mass setting, and people were singing it by heart. It's like it came back. It was all from 15 months ago. But I noticed, at least for me, I felt like the singing was more hopeful and more full. The other thing I noticed is that my throat hurt a little bit. I haven't been
well, I was
all
like,
the time.
and I think people who really appreciate singing, definitely, I had that sense of that. But for me, it was, where was I? I had a confirmation somewhere, and it was like right early on when we allowed singing again, and so it was at West Branch, and there's these music they're really experienced, and they're okay, we're going to do this, and sing Gloria, and I'm like, okay, before Mass, talking it over, are you going to sing the Mass parts? Well, yeah, we can, we can do that, pull that off. And I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if I remember my parts, for the memorial acclamation and the doxology, and I didn't have time. I had stuff to do before Mass, and all of a sudden, so then it's the Mass, and at the memorial acclamation, that's a simple one, Then while they're singing, I'm looking ahead at the doxology and seeing if I still have those notes, there in my head. And so I'm going, oh gosh, I'm just going to kind of hope that it's like riding a bike, and it came back, And it was
That's so
it was
awesome.
fine. It was good, but I was really nervous during Eucharistic prayer that I haven't done this. I haven't done this for over a year.
Yeah.
You know, but it was fun to.
You know what I noticed with the Gloria, when we were singing it, I know it by heart, but when I have to recite it, I have to read it.
Yeah, no,
I can't.
was just-
Isn't that interesting how you
Yeah.
singing?
Well, you're in the rhythm of the song, and it just sort of I don't
Yeah.
know, somehow it comes to you.
That was really neat. And I've already asked you about the plan to lift the dispensation to 10 Mass. That's sort of still up in the air. It's not like you're saying, okay, on August 1st,
Yeah.
the dispensation
Yeah, we'll
is
give
going to be
people
lifted.
advance notice, but it's I'm hopeful it'll be this summer sometime, and hopefully not too far into the summer.
That would be great.
You know, so we'll see.
I'm wondering, too, what are your thoughts about the continuation of live streamed and recorded Masses? Is that a good idea, not a good idea?
That's a good idea. I mean, I think lots of parishes will continue doing that. There's some people that can't go to Mass.
Right.
They're homebound, you know, even
Right.
pandemic or no pandemic. So I think, I don't know, probably, I haven't like done a study of that or survey, but I'm guessing a lot of them will continue on with that, and some won't, but at least like one Mass. You know, we know how to do it, and it's simple enough once you kind of get it figured out and you have the equipment.
And I'm thinking that people who watch Mass at home, it's not like they would be adverse to go. I mean, they're going to be people who probably would go to Mass, aren't they, if they're taking the time to
Yeah,
watch
you'd like
Mass?
I know. You'd like to think that, you know, that people that could go to Mass
Would go.
wouldn't go. Yeah, that they would go, but you'd
Yeah.
like to think that that there wouldn't be a matter of, oh, I don't have to. I can watch it. You know, a live stream, and I'll just kind of stay in my pajamas and not go to Mass when they could go. I'd like to, there'll probably be a few people like that. I hope that it's not a lot. I mean, if whatever, you know. I mean, because there's a Eucharist and everything else, and just being a part of a worshiping community. Yeah, I'd like to think that wouldn't happen so
Well,
much.
I have an uncle, and he had a couple of bouts with cancer, and so he's really careful.
Yeah.
And he had stem cell transplant and
Right.
everything. So, and he's out in Maryland, and he has been the whole time watching Mass. And he said, "Oh, it's great. You should see, Barb, the Mass that I get to watch
Right.
from my parish." And so I did. It was good. And then last week, we talk every week, and he said to me last week, he said, "Barb," he said, "I'm going to Mass in person." He
Yeah,
said, "It's
good for
just
him.
not the same."
Yeah, good
It's just,
for
he
him.
said, the experience is just so much richer
Yeah,
to be in person, he said.
But if somebody can't go to Mass,
Right,
you know, the ideal would be that they could worship online, you know, to the extent
Right.
they can with their own community. I mean, even before the pandemic, there are masses out there. You can find everything.
Right.
That's all fine, but the ideal would be that you could do it, worship with your community.
right, exactly.
So,
So I'm wondering too, should virtual meetings continue? I mean, like parish meetings and diocesan events in virtual form, or do you think it's time to come back together?
it's going to be, there's a lot of things that we've learned from this thing that, that have been good in terms of how to deal with this thing, and that's one of them. That one's not going to go away. There'll still be
Mhm.
virtual meetings, and it can be helpful. I mean, I
Right.
think about, groups I'm a part of, and like, maybe we'd meet regularly at St. Pat's in
Yeah.
in Iowa City, because they got good facilities, and it's more central than Davenport, so it's an hour there and an hour back, and there's dinking around, and before
Yeah,
and after,
yes.
which is all good stuff,
Right.
but that's a lot of time,
Yes.
and maybe it's just an hour meeting or something.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, I think it's going to be a mixed bag. A certain number per percentage of, it depends on the group,
Right.
and also what the topic of the meeting, the agenda. But I think there's going to be a lot of where, a certain percentage you meet online, virtually,
Right, yes.
and then, but it's important to be together once in a while.
Yes, it
It's
is.
like here at the Chancery, this week we opened back up again, not out to the public yet, but at least partially, a little, limited to that kind of a thing, but people coming back to work, and we could continue on the way it is, but there is something about being together. There's energy around that. There's just, you drop in, you talk about something, that's not scheduled. So I think it's going to be a mixed bag where I think it'd be, again, it depends on the group, how often, but at least sometimes have an in-person meeting.
What about your U.S. bishops' meetings? Will that be, is that virtual this spring, or do you go to?
It's virtual,
DC?
yeah, this month. It's virtual this month, and then hopefully in person in November.
And is that a kind of meeting that you think is better to be at in person or virtually?
Yeah, it's a lot of time. Yeah, I haven't heard them talking about like one of those being virtual and one not. There's like 2 a year. I haven't heard any discussion about that. But, I mean, theoretically you could, but you do lose a lot, with that kind of a thing, like a convocation or something.
Yeah.
Or just something where you get together and hang out for a chunk of time. You lose a lot when it's virtual.
I'm wondering, too, some Catholics believe our diocese has taken a particularly cautious approach to protocols throughout the pandemic. How would you respond to that perception?
Yeah, I have heard that a little bit, and people will use the word paternalistic. They can make their own decisions, and if that's the case, that I am too cautious or paternalistic, I'll accept that criticism. I mean, I'd rather, I'm the shepherd of the faithful of this diocese. I'm a spiritual father. Think about people. Somebody's a father, a mother, naturally.
Right.
And you care about your children, and it's not like they're children or anything. It's just, if I ask people to do, to be inconvenienced in minor ways, like wearing a mask, social distancing for a little while longer, and I am overly cautious.
Right.
I can live with that. I mean, I can live with that. That's I don't see that as this terrible thing.
Right.
So it's, and I when I was ordained and installed here, I said that I look at this as a love affair, my relationship with the diocese.
Right.
Remember I said that?
Yep, I remember that.
If I love people, I don't know, so I'm overly cautious, paternalistic. You can take that can be a negative kind of a connotation of that, but in a positive way, I'm just here's some guidelines. Yeah, you big kids, do what you're going to do, but I'm going to give you these guidelines, and I'd like you to reflect on them, and I can't control everything, but and it's not like they're not onerous, so that's how I see that.
Exactly. So I'm wondering, how are the revised protocols affecting the new initiative to encourage people to rediscover Sunday? How do you think that's
I don't know. Again, it's too early to tell exactly, but I'd like to think, I hear people are coming back. Some places, it sounds like they're back at it. Just, for the most part. Others, maybe it's a little bit slower. But people are returning, and I think, the vaccine, obviously, is a main reason. Easter, I think that kind of got people back. That helped, and then these protocols, that's going to make a difference for people. So, so it's a piece of it. It's not the whole thing, but it's just what it's all kind of flows together, kind of naturally. These different reasons where people are kind of more and more comfortable coming back. And
it's a good idea to start inviting. Our pastor said, invite someone to church next Sunday.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I think that's, I was kind of saying, we have these, we have a list of different kind of things that parishes might do. Yeah. Strategies, and so it's not like you have to do this, but here's some ideas, and one of them is that, and we were kind of saying when the time is right, so when is that time right? Maybe now, if somebody's vaccinated, bring them. So yeah, people are. It depends on the parish, kind of what might work one place might not work another place. But some people, there's creative things going on out there like that.
Great. One last final question. What are the most important lessons you've taken away from the pandemic?
I mean, one of the ones I talk to the confirmation candidates about when I talk to them before Mass. Often I'll talk about, how quickly things can be taken away from us.
Yeah.
Things can change. And we saw that, like with them, school, boom, no school, and then there's this online thing. It took them a while to get their act together. So, wow, school. And then one day you have it, one day you don't. Jobs for, some people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's like gone. And freedom to just kind of come and go where you want. I'm in control of my life. And all of a sudden, especially last summer, we're hunkered down. Health. Wow, boom, overnight I get COVID, and it might be minor symptoms, or it might be big things. They're long COVID, like what they refer to as long COVID, or death.
Yes.
So there's all these things, and we could go on and on and on with it.
Right.
And so basically, like for young people, but for all of us, it's life is really fragile.
Yeah.
And the things of the world are temporary.
Yeah.
So we're running around doing these things, and it can all go so quickly. And even if there's not like a pandemic or something, that just, the years fly by, right? So hopefully that gets people, this has helped people to reflect more deeply on, on just what really matters in life. And there's temporary things, and there's eternal life, and are we really getting prepared for that? And even life in this world, are we, hopefully people have gone deeper into how they're thinking and,
right.
and praying more. I was at something this morning. A woman was talking about how she's really drawn a lot closer to God through this whole thing. Just needing to lean on God more, and that's what you'd hope that could, there's this bad thing, and who wants bad things to happen? But when they do, my line is, God can squeeze grace out of these things for us if we're watching and participating with Him. So and another thing is just the importance of family and friends. We can take each other for granted, and all of a sudden, especially, extended family.
Yes.
Gosh, it's like, my family's going to get together, the siblings, in early August, and we've done Zoom, calls and things, but it'll be, gosh, I don't know, maybe almost a couple years by then.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think we can take a lot of things for granted, and this can shake us up, and hopefully it can help us to see things a little more clearly.
Awesome. Bishop, thanks a lot for this.
Sure.
Session's been really interesting.
You're welcome.
We'll
Barb.
see you next time, Bishop.
All right. It's a deal.
Thank you.